Time is now 5:35 p.m. on Tuesday, March 10th. Calling to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Warwick School Committee. This time I would kindly ask Ms. Tedeschi to please call the roll.
Mr. Galligan?
Here.
Ms. Hazelwood?
Here.
Ms. Kirby-Chapman?
Hello.
Mr. Wiggins?
Here.
Mr. Tester?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tedeschi. 5 present. We have a quorum. At this time, would everybody willing and able please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We are now on to the recognitions portion of our meeting. I turn it over to Director Jakes.
Thank you so much. So I'm happy to announce our February Employee Spotlight winners. These were all peer nominated. From our clerical department, we have Erica Oliver in maintenance. Also from maintenance, we have Andrea Winslow, who works at Warwick Neck. Our social worker, Christopher Russo at Wyman. Teacher assistant, Alan Dowding at Pilgrim. Special educator, Joan Thoreau at Oakland Beach. We also have a teacher, Stephanie Pepper from Windman. I would ask if you are here tonight to please stand when we call your name. We have tech ed teacher, Adam Ritchie from Tollgate. And last but certainly not least, we have a assistant principal from Tollgate, Todd Grimes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jakes, and congratulations to everybody who was recognized as our February Spotlight winners. I would now be looking for a vote to go in a closed session for discussion and/or action regarding those items of business exempt from open meetings under general laws of Rhode Island, RIGL 42-46-5, A1, A2, A4, A8, and A9. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We're in executive session at 5:37.
Testing 1 2. Testing.
Time is now 6:30 p.m. I'm calling back to order the March meeting of the Warwick School Committee. There were no votes taken in executive session. Oh, excuse me. I'd be looking for a motion to seal the minutes of executive session.
So moved.
Made by Ms. Hazelwood, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. There were no votes taken in executive session. We are now on to public comment on agenda items. Individual comments will be respectfully limited to 3 minutes per person, with public comment not to exceed 45 minutes. Though the content of comments will not be restricted, it is the hope of this committee that citizens, committee members, and the administration alike will be respectful of each other's right to speak, tolerant of different points of view, and mindful of everyone's time. This public comment period is for agenda items only. A second public comment session is available later in the meeting for all other topics or concerns. Members of the public are permitted to speak during both public comment periods. Speakers are asked to state their name for the record. For those new to our meetings, the podium is down here to my left, and we just ask that you turn the microphone on and again, state your name for the record.
Hello, Darlene Netco. There are a number of agenda items that I would like to comment on. I hope I can do so in the 3 minutes. First of all, I am glad to see that there is going to be a revision of the graduation by proficiency, whatever you want to call it. We've been living with this thing for 20 years now, just about. When we started here in Warwick, we had both a portfolio and a senior project. And the senior project had a 5-page research paper that went along with it. The kids did a lot more back then than they're doing now. I have frequently advocated for getting rid of the current project with it's not even a paper now, it's a research component, and to have something like is being presented tonight, where students take ownership over their work, and the presentation involves explaining what they have learned in their time in high school. And so I reviewed the presentation because it was put on public documents for tonight's meeting, as all public bodies should do. I know there are some public bodies that are not posting their materials as they should, but at least this one did post that. I also noticed that the robotics team is going to be asking for permission to travel out of state. I would hope that you grant that permission. It's the first, Tollgate is a trailblazer here. Their team came in first, and they get to represent Rhode Island at the World Finals. And I think back to Tollgate High School in the 80s. Once the academic decathlon competition was open to the entire state, and Hendricken wasn't just randomly sending their own teams every year, Tollgate was the first winner of that competition too. So it's nice to see the robotics team is carrying on that tradition. I also want to comment on the budget. I hope at some point the city does what it's supposed to do and put the Budget Commission's 25-26 budget up for a vote in front of the City Council. I'm sure nobody's listening from
30
that
seconds.
side, but I will be at the Budget Commission meeting tomorrow, and I will remind them that their budget is in limbo and that our district cannot accurately do a fiscal year 27 budget if the fiscal year 26 budget is not rectified. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? Any other members of the public wishing to comment? You're all set. Any other members of the public wishing to comment? Seeing none, we are on to recommended actions. And just for everyone, I imagine a lot of people will enjoy this statement. We have a very light agenda this evening, so it's going to be a fairly short meeting, which is nice considering we're heading into a busy time for the administration and the schools and the school committee. So We're on our recommended actions, routine matters. Be looking for a motion to move approval of the minutes of public session, February 19th, 2026.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval of the minutes of executive session from February 19th, 2026.
So moved.
Made by Ms. Hazelwood. Seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval of warrants March 10th, 2026.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. At this time, I turn it over to Ms. Jakes for announcements personnel as presented.
Thank you, Chair. Tonight, I'd like to share some courtesy appointments with you all. We have a new hire, Adriana Santos. She's a senior clerk in our transportation department. And we also have an internal transfer. Stephanie Shields is the new internship coordinator department head at the Warwick Career and Technical Center.
Cool.
Thank you.
Stephanie Shields.
Yes, they are.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Jakes. We got to split you two up now. He's rubbing off on you, Mr. Wiggins. I mean, Mr. Testa, excuse me. We have no donations or correspondences this evening. At this time, I'd be moving on to adoptions of policies, looking for a motion to move approval on the first read of draft policy BCD, Student Liaison to the School Committee.
So moved.
Made by Ms. Hazelwood, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion on draft policy BCD, Student Liaison to the School Committee?
Yes.
Mr. Testa.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Thank you, Policy Subcommittee. Appreciate the work that's done. I have the only proposed changes, I guess, but that's a poor word. Expansions, I guess is a better word, of the students' roles and responsibilities. I think as it's in the first read, I think there should be a little more meat on the bones there. And when I look at the Narragansett policy, it talks about the purpose of this participation is to help the school committee gain greater insight into student activities, programs, and needs at the high schools to encourage student involvement. So some of that language, I think, gives a little more heft. If I'm a student and I'm interested, I might be interested in this, I need to know exactly, what's expected of me. Narragansett also has the student serve as a liaison to the school improvement team. Not sure if that's good or bad, but it'd be cool if we can consider that. And then on the policy under the responsibilities is like items 10, 11, and 12. I'm not going to read them all. It just gives the student a little more. The only word I can think of is heft. More heft to what it is. And I like the Woonsocket policy that it's under their roles, and it's under F. It says, come to meetings prepared to make a student report on a topic of interest and importance to the student community, provided that the content and the nature of the report is set forth in agenda, et cetera, et cetera. So it doesn't have to be every month, but if there's something they have to say, they should know that they can say it. So if there's a little carve out there for them. And the last thing I would say, and I don't know whose policy this is, I think this is North Kingstown. Okay, so student liaisons are responsible for communicating actions made by the school committee to the student body. So that would go to principals. Is it possible during the morning announcements or whatever, if there's anything pertinent from a school committee meeting, that maybe that gets shared out that day. So I just think, I like it. I like the first draft. I do. I just think I would just try to put a little more stuff into the student representatives. That's all. Other than that, good job.
Thank you. Any other comments on this policy? I would just echo Mr. Testa's statements. It's cool to see this finally coming to fruition here and one step closer. I do like the idea that Woonsocket has the student present something. I think it would kind of mimic our agenda item, the superintendent update. So I think that would be cool if this individual ends up, grabbing the bull by the horns here and really going to a meeting with their class officers, going to their PTA meetings and hear about what's being discussed, and then giving us the student perspective. So I think it's a really cool policy. I'm excited to see it coming forward and making these next steps. So nicely done. Anyone else? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye. What are they gonna?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval the second read of policy KHB, advertising and sponsorships.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. Any discussion on this policy? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Are there any updates this evening from the chair of the policy subcommittee?
Just a few. So when looking for the 60-day policy, Ms. Murray brought it up that she reviewed a lot of the other policies with the other committees. One is 60-day really possibly a timely fashion, and there's also other committee policies which we can probably merge, so we want to look at them as a whole. So it kind of became a little bit more of a bigger project of looking at the other policies. So it was good catch about doing that. The building, we're still waiting for the building to bring us their policy. And I think that was it, was just the other two. And then the student participation we brought forward.
Mr. Chair.
Great,
I'm
thank
sorry.
you.
Yep. So with respect to the building and the PCO change policy, we met after they met, so, but the
Right.
building committee passed it unanimously, and we sent it on to the policy sub, so they'll take it up at the next meeting.
Great.
So
Thank
that
you.
looks like that's more profitable, but the 60-day, we want to look into it, like I said, with the other, see how we can maybe merge old policies and make it one better one.
Nope, that works.
forward.
Absolutely, thank you. Nice update. Anyone on the committee have anything for the chair of policy?
She did great.
Okay.
I'll do it after the meeting.
Awesome. We are now on to new business. First item before us is a presentation, proposed class of 2028 graduation showcase, as presented by Mr. Livesey and Dr. Guerrera.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us come up here. We're going to do a quick presentation for you, showcasing the newest version coming up for the class of 28 for our performance-based diploma assessment. At this time, we've been working since 2007 on some type of capstone or graduation by proficiency-based project. And there have been many iterations over time. And I'll talk a little bit about our current iteration and a little bit about where we're going, and Mr. Livesey will give additional details. But one thing that's steadfast is that RIDE has always required some level of presentation, some level of project for students. Students are asked to create something, whether it has been in the past something focused on one area with a mentorship, or it's something that builds with projects, assessments, tasks from a multitude of places. The class of 2028 came about with a ton of changes from RIDE, so we figured this was the optimal time as these students came in last year, and it was a great time to start to look at the current version of the capstone project and start to look at, does it really meet our needs? Does it really meet the kids' needs? And just to kind of give you an overview of what RIDE has, based on the next slide, thank you. This is some jargon from the Department of Education, just to give you some overview. The idea is that the project should be a performance-based diploma assessment of some type and be connected to applied learning standards and at least one content area aligned with either content standards, industry standards, state standards, applied learning standards, and in our case, we're going to talk about vision of a graduate and expectations for employers and any sort of post-secondary education. For us, we'll talk about work-based learning, we'll talk about school projects, we'll talk about outside projects and or activities that students do and the ways that we can support learners, support our students in a way that is flexible, meeting their needs and for where they are currently, to make a project that's meaningful for the student. Next slide, thank you. So for the traditional, there are two major types of capstone projects currently that we have going on at both high schools. We have a traditional version and we have a pathway version. So pathway version is connected to students who are in pathways or in career and tech center programs or career and tech educational programs. The traditional one, as you can see, we've been focused on the essential question. We've done some research, bigger research over time, and kind of adjusted it to a place where it's been an essential question for kids to work on with a mentor. They spend at least 12 hours with a mentor, creating a product. They are currently working on one area, one research source that can inform their product. They will create a resume as part of RIDE's expectations for graduates of at least class of, I believe, 2020, I'm gonna say 4. And they'll do a binder and they'll do a presentation. This is pretty similar every year, every couple of years we've modified this traditional project. The pathway students, they'll work on something where it'll connect directly to what their pathway is or their career and tech program. Work-based learning experiences are included, journal entries with some reflective work, again, a resume and a presentation. All kids will do a presentation. And we felt, next slide please. We felt like, all right, class of 2028, as they come in, we've got some pieces to work on as 2 schools that have been reviewed by NEASC in and around the 2018-2019 school year. And it's time for us to look at making a change for students that meets them where they are, create some flexibility for students to demonstrate their learning in a more vast way that represents what they have accomplished either here, combined with what they have done here at the high school, whether it's Tollgate or Pilgrim, and how it connects to things that they've done outside in the community, whether it's a work experience, community service experience, or something similar. Mr. Livesey will talk about a little bit more about the why.
The why, good evening. The why has been driving us since our NEAS visit. We're in year 7 of our 10-year cycle, and one of the first things that NEAS asked us to create was a vision of a graduate. All high schools in New England will be going or have gone through this process, and we spent a couple of years developing it. Dr. Guerra and I also went to training how to do it through NEASC, and we developed it at each of our schools. We met with the middle school, and then it became a K through 12 initiative, and you'll see this in every school you go to. There's a giant one outside of the main office at Vets here. So that has been our focus. And then I want to give a shout out to Dr. Schultz, who, when she came along as curriculum director, NEAS asked us to form a template for all of our curriculums. And we spent a lot of time developing that template, and then we revised all our curriculums, which had never been done before. We did it, it took us a few years to do, but we went through that process. Within each curriculum are elements of vision of a graduate. And when Dr. Schultz brought those curriculums to you for approval, each of them had a vision of a graduate. Some departments, some classes were a little bit more difficult, but we worked our way through that. And teachers have been implementing that curriculum with vision of a graduate. So we talk about the different skills in vision of a graduate, which is a continuous learner, empowered citizen, empathetic collaborator, skilled communicator, innovative problem solver, critical thinker, and healthy and balanced learner. So those are the what's driving us, which is embedded in our curriculum. Now we've gotten to the point where we want students to showcase those skills. So what we're proposing is a changing of the capstone project to a capstone showcase, where students would be collecting data artifacts from activities, projects they've done in their classes from 9th through 12th grade. It'll be mostly 11th and 12th grade because that's when the upperclassmen and that's when they have their major projects. So we've been working with our teachers on where do these skills fit. The empowered citizen fits in nicely with the class of 2028's requirement for a civics project where they research an issue in the school, city, state, country or a global issue like climate change, and they research it and look to things to do about it. Our Healthy and Balanced Learner is embedded in our health curriculum. Students, especially 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, all do projects having to do with decision-making, healthy living, making good choices, self-awareness, self-regulation, and physical and health requirements as well. Our continuous learner is built into our individualized learning plan that we do through Zello. Starts in middle school and goes all the way up through graduation. One of the other requirements students will have in 2028 is writing a resume. They do that in our ILP program. The other 4 areas are the ones that we're focusing on throughout every class, which is the empathetic collaborator, skilled communicator, innovative problem solver, and critical thinker. So we've been working with teachers, the leadership team. How did these projects come out? How can students be focused on it and know they're developing these skills, and then do some type of reflection that they will take and store in their capstone drive in their Google Drive. So it's a folder they'll create. Go to the next one. So what we're envisioning is a capstone showcase for each senior to present that lasts probably 12 to 14 minutes, answering the questions: who am I? What skills and abilities have I developed? Why am I graduation ready? And what are my future plans? We think of the bookends as who am I and why am I graduation ready and what are my future plans as being 1 or 2 minutes each. And then the meat of their presentation would be artifacts from things they've developed. Students in our music program would probably showcase the music that they've done. Kids in our Pathways and Career Tech are going to be focusing on what they've learned through that. We have students who take all of our art electives, so that is their passion. We want them to be focused on what they've developed and be able to speak about it. Many of our students take all of our social studies electives, and that's what they're going to be focusing on in college. So that's the area, is students are focusing on who they are and where they're going next. And what they're going to be demonstrating is the artifacts of how they've developed these skills in their high school years. So that's what we're asking you to think about tonight and help us to move forward with this as we get to it. Our class of 2028 are sophomores now. Some of them have already taken civics. Their civics teachers have told them, save what you've done for your civics project, because there's going to be a place to store that as we're moving forward. So we'll be available for any questions you have, but we thank you for your time.
Thank you both. Any comments? Mr. Wiggins.
Thank you both. Thank you both for putting so much time into this. As somebody who has mentored 16 kids in the last 2 years in the Capstone project, with 50 of them being just coaching kids, one being significant, I think, this is an incredible way of changing that kind of dialogue. I mean, there's an easy way out, and there's a way to show what the next level of your life is going to be, and this is the only way you can do it. And I think that, what you have here and what you've encapsulated is wonderful, and I think it's a great kind of a future. Like to Ms. Necco's point at the beginning, we need to move forward, and so a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Testa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Lizzie, Dr. Ware, thank you. Yeah, someone who's judged capstone projects for, I don't know, a dozen or so years, I thought they had gotten stale. So I'm really happy that we've decided to change it. I kind of like this format a little bit. I can remember some students would put such a burden on themselves to do a senior project that I always felt it didn't make sense to me. So this is more natural. You know, it encompasses your 4 years, your career in school. So I'm pleased, and thank you for the work that you've done.
Thank you, Mr. Testa. Ms. Hazelwood.
Well, seeing we're talking about what we've done, I have to say I helped many children cross that stage. But I remember when they used to have the e-portfolio. It was scaffolded. It was the testing, the e-portfolio, the capstone. Actually, it was senior project. There were multiple pieces. This is so much more organic. It's natural. They're going to be able to talk with ease about their high school experience, and they'll have plenty to share at that point. Especially the last 2 years, as you said, that's when the meat of it will go in, because that's when they really are wrapping up their high school career and their school career in general, as far as in Warwick Public Schools. But I think when it's organic like that, and it's something they chose to do for years, instead of, I gotta hurry up and do this one piece here. And it was so stressful for so many, it really was such a stressful thing. And a lot of it, what they'd get to the end of it and say, yeah, I don't want to do that when I don't want to do that after all. But this is going to be them sharing the path they took. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Hazelwood. Ms. Gerber-Chapman, do you have anything? First and foremost, okay. Go ahead. Yep.
Take a moment to thank Dr. Guerra and Mr. Livesey for all you do for your schools. Huge difference, huge impact. We reap the benefits of your hard work, supporting teachers, supporting students, supporting administrators. Thank you for all you do every day, each and every day.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I'd also
Superin-
like to thank Pam Bernardi and Steph Shields, who have been invaluable through this whole process.
Do you want to go first and then I'll go, or do you want me to go and then you go? I just wanted to add on to a couple of comments my colleagues made. And first and foremost, thank you for the presentation. Very thorough and easy to read and understand, and to kind of have it as its first introductory moment for the community. It's nice that it's this simplistic. One thing that I really like about this, as opposed to the current way that we have our seniors go through their graduation requirements, is that this almost mirrors what they're going to experience when they get out in the real world from a resume perspective, right? Where you're constantly, every day, every week, every month, every year, you're building your life resume of what do you do in the community, what do you do professionally, and that way you can then use that resume later on to apply for other opportunities. So I think that based on how this is structured, it gets them ready for going into the real world, where you're getting practical experience. No matter what you do, you can use it when you're going for an interview for the most part, right? You could talk about maybe public speaking and how it helped you, so now you can give presentations within the boardroom. So I like that this is very similar to a resume, and that these kids, not just their junior or senior year, will ramp up in preparation for graduation, but through their whole academic journey. And I would really love to see how, as you guys grow and develop this, how this could kind of trickle its way down to the elementary and secondary levels, so that the kids in 6th grade and then heading into middle school start to really understand it, and then they could start to go, you know what, this would be a great thing for me to add to my capstone showcase.
That's actually something that's happening right now at Warwick Vets.
Awesome.
Michelle Devine is, for the National Junior Honor Society, they are demonstrating what they've done in this vision of a graduate, what steps they've taken. And a lot of the organic discussions we've had with teachers is what would be better for a student going out to an employer getting interviewed, and when they ask them what kind of skills do you have, they're saying, oh, I have good problem solving skills, collaboration skills. Here's an example of how I did that. And that's what we're trying to instill in the kids. So that's our next step, is getting students really embedded in what's in our curriculum and our vision of a graduate.
No, it's awesome. It's definitely getting them workforce ready. Without a doubt, they're going to go on to be independent and productive members of society with these alterations. Not saying what we currently have didn't already do that, because we've seen a lot of our graduates go on to do great things, but I just think this is another layer that just separates our students from other school systems. So thank you very much for your presentation. And for our grand finale on this topic, Mr. Kane.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to echo Mr. McCaffrey. Both Mr. Livesey and Ms. Guerra are just outstanding teaching and learning principals. The amount of people involved in this process, it wasn't two people driving the change, but we had graduation by proficiency involved, secondary office, teachers, union members, department leaders, And more importantly, I think both high schools have come together on a lot of different issues right now and collaborated for the betterment of the whole district. And this is kind of like a slam dunk presentation from my view. It's what's best for kids, what's best for the district, and it just makes sense.
It does fit in with when we have our lighting the way, our modern learning environment, rigorous and relevant learning, and learner-centered. So that was part of our driving back we were working with Dr. Schultz on this, and that was part of why we did all this. So.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to say it to him? Go ahead. All right. He's got a sense of humor.
Just said you could make the T-shirts. Best for the kids, best for the district. It's right there. I can trademark it for you. I can do that stuff.
All right. This evening, we're going to be passing on item 2, discussion presentation, update, high schools update. We give Mr. Bates our best. He's under the weather at this time. And what we've decided is that he will give a more substantial update at our regularly scheduled April meeting. So we are passing on item 2, discussion presentation update, high schools update, and we are now on to item 3, discussion update, FY26 budget update, as presented by Mr. Enos.
Good evening, everyone. Well, Mother Nature has not been kind to our finances, not at all. While we have been tracking pretty well in our overtime line item, the regular overtime and the snow overtime as of the beginning of last month was well under the total budget for what we had. However, the storms we had over the last month, as well as the sub-zero temperatures over the weekends and the need to check the buildings to make sure everything was all set, that drove our numbers significantly up for this month. We're still under budget, though. Of note, the snow, overtime, and other expenses related to the blizzard of 2026 are not reflected in this finance report yet. Those were just paid out last week, so it didn't make the cutoff. However, at this point, we are tracking all of the expenses related to the blizzard, overtime, snow removal services separately, as these expenses should be reimbursed by FEMA. We provided our year-to-date total, our projection to Chief McMichael from the fire department of approximately $226,800, as he was requested by the state to provide the information. If it is determined that the state does not qualify for reimbursement by FEMA, those expenses will then be allocated over to the general fund. And as well, all of our trucks took a beating from this storm, so we've also got some truck repairs that are going into the general fund as well. Some quick line items I just wanted to point out. Our legal services account, 53402, is trending in the right direction for this year as compared to last year at this time. 115,000 compared to 214,000 last year at this time. So that's what we want to see. Transportation account, 55111. I don't want you to get too excited when you see the year-to-date expenses as compared to last year, as there are some invoices that have not been processed yet. I can tell you that the transportation invoices are closely scrutinized by Carl McGovern every single month. And I can report that as of last month, our displaced students, so the homeless students who are transported on statewide, we are trending in the right direction as that as well. So we have less students as compared to the same time as last year. So that's all good. Electricity and the natural gas, we're keeping an eye on those lines. While we will likely go over the budgeted amount for electricity, there will be funds in the natural gas line item that will be used to cover any of the overages in that line item. And finally, so for the deficit for year end, we are closely monitoring that, and we're looking at all revenues, all avenues to maximize revenues and reduce expenses for the remainder of the year. Any questions?
Any questions or comments from members of the committee? Mr. Testa.
Thank you, Mr. Enos. So the snow removal overtime was always rolled into the regular overtime budget, right? For
Correct.
this year. So that's why it showed 0.
Correct.
It wasn't that we were stupid and didn't think it was going to snow. It was just that we rolled it into the regular overtime budget, which makes sense to me.
Correct.
And the FEMA, I mean, you know, there was a time FEMA wasn't political. Now evidently it is. So my hope is, I mean, everybody's in the same boat. I mean, everybody raked up unbelievable amounts of overtime. So, you know, if the FEMA funds don't come through, it just compounds the deficit. But
We will
it
deal
is
with
what
it.
it is. So thank you for all the work you've done.
Thank you. Mr. Wiggins.
I just want to thank Miss Higgins and her team for all they did during the blizzard and getting us back in school and taking the care. Those workers were sleeping in buildings and doing things that well beyond their means, away from their families during a blizzard. So I just wanted to applaud you and your team for everything you did to get us through the blizzard of 26.
Thank you. I'm very proud of everybody. It couldn't have been done without them.
Thank you.
Well said, Mr. Wiggins. Ms. Hazelwood?
I'll echo that. Thank you so much for everything. Appreciate your hard work, all of you.
Thank you. Ms. Kirby-Chapman, anything on FY26?
Well, I mean, just obviously, thank you. Thank you for everyone out there.
And Mr. Enos, just to, again, I believe I heard you say it, on the $226,000 expense relative to the blizzard, that also include the heavy equipment that we brought in, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great.
Overtime, snow removal, the heavy equipment to come in. We had hired a company to remove snow from school roofs because we needed to make sure we weren't going to have any collapsing roofs or major leaks. So,
Great. Thank you. Item 4, discussion update. This we're going to pass on this evening, and this is discussion update, district health insurance provider. The finance office is continuing to work through this and collect more information, and they'll be providing an update to us possibly next month. Item 5, discussion update, superintendent update as presented by Mr. McCaffrey.
Mr. Chair, members of the school committee, I too would like to thank Donna Higgins, Phil Ricciuti, Eric Cool, the WISE members for all they did for the snowstorm. I also want to thank Donna and Kevin for their coordination with the capital projects vendors who also helped out on the snow removal. Made a huge difference. I want to thank the team, transportation team that's on the chain for all you did for the first day of school, monitoring routes, making sure Donna was brought to her attention if there was an issue with the roadway, where she contacted DPW right away. I want to thank the DPW for coordinating with us and helping us out throughout the storm, as well as with our transportation issues. It was a team effort, and with the team effort, we did a great job. Thank you. March is a busy month for the district. Been working closely with the elementary and secondary offices on staffing for the FY26 school year, working on budget prep for the 27 year, budget prep for the FY27 year. We have state testing going on. We have competitions. We have events. CTE, it's March Madness with the Skills USA competitions. Survey Works is schools are working through that and working through completion on that, so they'll be ready for the April 10th deadline for Survey Works, which is everyone's doing a great job on that, diligently getting it done. Finally, I would say there are an awful lot of athletic events for the winter season that have taken place. I had the pleasure of being at the hockey game last night where Pilgrim had beat Prout to go on to the Final Four. I believe Tollgate as well has progressed forward. Tollgate East Greenwich Co-op. We had Allie Patton at Pilgrim High School, who won the New England's in wrestling. I stopped to see her today. Incredible young woman who will be competing at the Nationals in 2 weeks. We have some great things happening in this district. Students are shining. It's a direct result of the hard work of our teachers, of our staff members, our administrators, and their dedication to the schools. So that's my report for March. Are there any questions?
Any questions or comments from members of the committee? I have one comment. In addition to Ms. Higgins and her team, who did a fantastic job, I do want to applaud Superintendent McCaffrey. First major crisis that he had to kind of deal with outside of a financial crisis in his role as superintendent, and you kept my colleagues and I very well informed, as well as the community. You made thoughtful decisions on a daily basis that always put the student safety first and foremost. You methodically played out each day as to when you would make a decision, so you could collect all the information possible. So we really appreciated your steady leadership during that time, during a historic storm. So thank you, and nicely done.
Thank you. And I would add, too, the Pilgrim hockey team is in the Final Four this year, which is great. We don't have any students coming in from other districts for CTE on our team. They're all Warwick students, Warwick natives, and they're there in the Final Four, where there are other districts may have had students from other communities on their teams, but the Warwick students made it to the Final Four.
Did not see that coming. There's a little fire in that blazer. Thank you, Superintendent. We're now on to item 6, discussion update, CTE open house, as presented by Mr. Galligan.
The better looking Mr. Galligan. He knows I'm kidding. Good evening, members of the school committee and Superintendent McCaffrey, those of you with us tonight, and those of you watching from home. My name is Frank Galligan, and I'm the director of the Warwick Area Career and Technical Center, and I'm pleased to share a brief update on the continued growth and successes of our programs serving the students of Warwick. First, I'm happy to report that enrollment interest for the 2026-27 school year is extremely strong. At this point in the application cycle, more than half of our programs are already filled to capacity, and waiting lists have begun. This level of demand undoubtedly reflects the growing recognition among students and families that the career and technical education provides meaningful, hands-on pathways to both college and career success. While many of our programs are already full, limited space remains available in several areas for interested students, including aviation, computer engineering and drafting, electronics, and business. Moreover, our Lifesaver EMT and Studio 107 programs are fully enrolled at the senior level, though limited seats remain for juniors who are interested in joining those pathways. In addition, our 9th grade exploratory program, which allows freshmen to rotate through and experience several of our technical programs during the fall semester, is now completely full for next year. Given the growing interest in career and technical education across Warwick, we are also excited to share that our program offerings will expand to 17 in the fall with the addition of a new environmental science program. This program will be led by Mr. Gregory Rowe, a science teacher from Pilgrim High School, whose program proposal recently received high remarks during the initial review process with the Rhode Island Department of Education. Mr. Rowe's program will give students the opportunity to work directly with scientists and researchers in the field, focusing on data collection and analysis of aquatic life in and around the state of Rhode Island. Students will also build, launch, and track a mini sailboat to analyze atmospheric and oceanic conditions in partnership with the University of Rhode Island. The goal of the program is to teach students how to study air and water conditions related to environmental issues while building a strong research foundation connected to the future of renewable energy and environmental science careers. Interest in this new program is already strong, and we encourage any freshmen or sophomores interested in environmental science to apply. While word-of-mouth support has always served our programs well, we are also making a greater effort to highlight the outstanding accomplishments of our students and faculty. In addition to utilizing social media and local newspapers this year, we recently launched 2 radio commercials as well as an email ad campaign that have been airing during the morning and evening commutes to further promote Warwick's successes. A few weeks ago, our culinary students earned 2 gold medals at the Rhode Island High School Culinary Arts, Food Service, and Hotel Management Competition. These students compete as part of the Pro Start program, demonstrating their culinary and management skills in front of industry professionals while competing for statewide recognition and industry exposure. Because of their success, they will be traveling to Baltimore, Maryland next month to represent Rhode Island at the national competition. To support their upcoming trip, several fundraisers are being organized. The first will be taking place this Friday, March 13th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Runway Sports Bar and Grill on Post Road in Warwick, and a second fundraiser will be held on Tuesday, April 14th at the Convention Center in downtown Providence. We're very proud of these students and are grateful for the community support that will help them showcase the very best of Warwick on the national stage. I would also be remiss if I did not congratulate and thank Chefs Niosi and Irons for their support of our students and their ongoing instructional leadership and guidance at this time. Looking more broadly across the school, all of our career and technical programs will be advancing to state-level competitions this month with Skills USA. Skills USA is a national partnership of students, teachers, and industry leaders dedicated to preparing students for careers in skilled, technical, and service occupations while promoting leadership, professionalism, and technical excellence. Students who advance from the state-level competitions have an opportunity to compete on the national level, which we have in the past, in Atlanta, Georgia this June. The generosity and involvement of our city through numerous fundraisers, including the annual golf tournament in June, help to make these opportunities possible. Our students and instructors have been working extremely hard in preparation, and we're excited to see them represent Warwick. Likewise, I would like to extend my thanks to Mr. Christopher Bianco and Mrs. Jill Shirtleff, our 2 faculty co-advisors for Skills USA, for all of their support and hard work. Finally, while I could spend much more time highlighting the incredible work happening across all of our programs, nothing compares to seeing it in person. I would like to personally invite the committee and members of the community to our spring open house tomorrow evening, Wednesday, March 11th, at 6 p.m., starting in the Tollgate High School auditorium. Guests will have the opportunity to tour our facility, meet our students and instructors, and see firsthand the innovation, creativity, and Warwick pride that defines us. People are welcome to call us anytime to arrange for a visit to learn more about our programs. You can also find us online simply by Googling Career in Tech, Education in Warwick, and we should come up right at the top of the list. Thank you for your ongoing support of our students, along with the rewards, excitement, and the opportunities that career and technical education continues to provide in Warwick.
Thank you. Any comments, questions from members of the committee? None? Suit jackets probably at the dry cleaners, but that's fine. Thank you very much for that very thorough update this evening.
Thank you.
Thanks. We are now on to item 7, discussion action. I'm looking for a motion to move approval for the request of the robotics team to attend out-of-state field trip.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. Any comments or discussions from members of the committee?
Go team.
Yeah, yeah, he's out there, Mr. Reed. I want to just thank you. Piggybacking on what Mr. Galligan just espoused from the podium, there are so many things positive that are going on here. It's not just that. Mr. Gibbons sent us an email today about Pilgrim's Results and the Future Business Leaders of America Spring Leadership Conference. First time in over a decade we've been in there. We have 2nd place finishes, 3rd place finishes, 4th place finishes. Our kids can do anything, anything. And for a very, very long time, and I've sat on this stage and I've said the same thing over and over again. The public doesn't, I don't think the public appreciates it enough because they don't know it enough. And Mr. Gallagher, I was thrilled that we did radio ads because there's a lot of good stuff going on in this district, and it's all student-based, right? The students are accomplishing it, right? They're great teachers, great support staff, up and down the chain. And for too long, I think people have enjoyed kind of kicking the Warwick public schools. I have 3 kids that have accomplished some pretty good things and came out of the Warwick School District. So, like, I'm never going to accept that criticism. And it reminds me of a quote. You can put this in the book, Mr. Galligan. Dale Carnegie said, "Any fool can condemn, criticize, and complain, and most fools do." Any fool can condemn, criticize, and complain, and most fools do. So I don't have any tolerance for that because I know what's going on in these buildings, and kudos to everybody involved.
Thank you. Any other comments from members of the committee? I would just say it's great to see them going out of state and competing. Most members in the community might not know, but this team was at Brown University the very day where the tragedy, when the tragedy was going on there. So to have a little bit of a positive end to the year here for that team it's awesome, and I'm happy that they're getting to go to this. And I want to thank the coaching staff for not only getting them to this point, but also keeping them safe on that day when they were at Brown. So really looking forward to you guys going. And as Mr. Wiggins said, now go win it. So.
Yeah.
All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item, discussion action, formal request to the Commissioner of Education regarding waiver of snow days. Looking for a motion to move approval. Made by Mr. Testa,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. Any discussion from members of the committee? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you for your efforts on that, Superintendent. Next item we have, item 9, looking for a motion to move approval of the 2026 Rhode Island Student Survey, RISS.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion or comments? Ms.
Discussion.
Hazelwood.
I've gotten a lot of feedback from my constituents about this survey, mostly middle school, related to middle school. The parents in my district do not want to see their kids given this survey. So I would like to make a motion amending this, that we present the survey to 9th and 10th graders, but not 6, 7, and 8.
There is a motion on the table by Ms. Hazelwood to amend the delivery of this survey to only 9th and 10th grade students. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Kirby Chapman. So now we can have discussion on the motion to amend who would receive this survey. Is there any discussion from any or comments from members of the committee on the motion to amend?
Mr. Chair, I think, and I think I asked this question last month, whenever we last addressed it. Students can't opt out of this, am I correct? Ms. Murray, you're nodding your head, yes? All right, so parents can opt their students out if they want to, right? Okay, as long as they have that, what's the word?
Option?
Option, thank you.
You can come up with copious.
Thank you. We tabled this last month on the basis of legality around whether we can modify this at all. So just want to defer to council. Is the motion that is on the table acceptable from a legal perspective?
It is.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other comments or questions from members of Mr. Wiggins?
As a father of 2 teenagers who've gone through these types of surveys, and speaking to them, whether they want or want to do it or not, to Mr. Testa's point, I won't get into what my 2 eldest sons said to me about the survey itself, like, and what they plan on doing or what their friends plan on do with it. I didn't feel like they were uncomfortable. I didn't feel like they were, taken back by any of the questions. A lot of them, even asked my 18-year-old today if he was asked a question of specifics, would he be offended, and would he be offended when he was in 6th grade? And when he was in 6th grade, he did the same thing, and so my thing is, if you're able to opt out, I'm also on that board as well. If there's a way to opt out, it's always good to hear from the students on all levels, from this survey from 6th through. If we limit it, I feel like we're not going to get as much data that we need, and I'm concerned about that. So that's my only concerns about the motion.
Ms. Kirby-Chapman.
Same discussion, so many years later, too. I think it's the problem that, yes, parents have the right to opt out, but not all parents know when they can opt out. There's not enough, I don't think that we don't give enough transparency per se, but if we have a hard time getting parents signing report cards, I don't think it's a whole thing where we can get parents to even understand what this is, and at a grade level of 6th grade, it's just too adult and I don't even think they truly understand. And there's a lot of parents that feel that way.
Thank you. Ms. Hazelwood, any comments on your motion?
I do have a comment on the motion. I do not think this is the reason. You have some kids going 6th grade, they're 10 years old. I do not think it is appropriate to ask a child that age if they would consider killing themselves without having discussion. It's a self-reporting document. It's a self-reporting document without discussion. At that age, that's a lot. Usually, if you're going to be asked those kinds of questions in a counseling session, not in a classroom with a Chromebook in front of you and nothing to talk about after the fact. Those kinds of questions need to be done. I know our social workers wouldn't ask that straight out without really looking at, this is a data collection, but it is not considering the mental health of the child. They're collecting data, no social worker there after the fact, no discussion. It's usually during, it's during a little short period. Some things like this should be discussions in a curriculum part of health class, not in a self-reporting document without the opportunity to have discussion. There is more to it than just collecting data when you're asking a 10-year-old if they're considering killing themselves. That's all.
Thank you. I've gone back and forth with this continuously. I'm going to support Miss Hazelwood's motion because it's a happy medium. I'd have no problem if, at first I had an issue with the content of the survey, but then I started to speak to parents of middle school students, and it's incredible to know what some of these kids at their age know. So at first I was thinking they weren't going to be aware of what's being asked of them, but then doing some homework and speaking to families within the community, it was telling to learn that these kids know far more than I think that they know relative to this stuff. But I also I acknowledge my colleague Ms. Kirby-Chapman's remarks that we have some families that don't even open up the report cards, let alone an email letting them know that this survey is going to be administered. While we have the policy in place to allow families to opt out, and I feel that Miss Hazelwood's motion is a reasonable motion. It's a happy medium, and so I'll be supporting the motion. But I would have also been fine if we did go with offering it up to 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, because we have the checks and balances in place to allow people to opt out. It's a voluntary survey. They can skip questions and the like. So with that, all those in favor on the motion to amend offering the survey to only 9th and 10th graders? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Nay.
Okay, we've got 4 ayes, 1 nay. The motion passes 4-1. Next item we have is item 10. We're going to pass on this. This is a formal request for increased contribution support for VOWS Inc. Just want to let the public know we did receive a formal request from VOWS to provide additional funds as part of their annual contribution from the school department, and as suggested by one of my colleagues, the proper mechanism for this would be now asking that the school district account for that as part of their FY27 budget planning, and then bringing that back before us at that time. So that would be the proper mechanism there. So that's why it says discussion action, but no action at this time is being taken on it, but it is being addressed.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on Acting Director of Capital and Construction Projects.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. This was discussed in exec, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
What?
At this time, if you wouldn't mind standing up, the new Acting Director of Capital and Construction Projects, Mr. Kevin Oliver. I didn't want to put you on the spot. They were kind of making me, so. I'm just kidding. Congratulations. Item 12, be looking for a motion to move approval, discussion action, central office staff contract terms as presented in executive session.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Wiggins.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Hazelwood. I'd be looking for a motion to adopt the recommendation of the administration.
Moved.
Made by
So moved.
Mr. Testa, seconded by
Second.
Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 13, discussion action. I'm looking for a motion to move approval the termination of central administrative position contract.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by
Second.
Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Looking for a motion to move approval on the education consultant contract.
Move approval.
Mr. Testis.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. Any discussion on this? Ms. Hazelwood.
I just want to say thanks for being proactive in your role. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments from members of the committee? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're now on to the approval of FY26 March expenditures. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on the change orders as presented within the packet.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. Any discussion on any of the change orders? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're now looking for a motion to move approval the general funded requisitions as presented in the packet.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion on any of the, yes, Mr. Testa.
Chair, thank you. Ms. Higgins, thank you. I sent you an email on the one about Grand Automotive Supply, buying the tire changer and balancer, and I asked what the cost benefit here was, and basically this would pay for itself in about a year and a half because of all the changes that we do and then we pay private companies for, so we can do it on our own and save money. I wanted to thank you because this is the kind of stuff that's beneficial to the district. So from a financial standpoint, right, Mr. Enos? Yeah. Thank you. That's it.
Great minds think alike, Mr. Testa. That was the exact same email I sent off today. More so trying to figure out if it was a replacement or new, but after finding out that it was going to be new and that there was going to be a cost savings or cost avoidance for the district, it was great to find that out as well. So, any other comments regarding the general funded requisitions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Be looking for a motion to move approval grant funded requisitions as presented. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. Any discussion on grant funded requisitions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And then be looking for a motion to move approval on the bid awards as presented. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Ms. Hazelwood. Any discussion on the bid awards? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're now on to the second public comment portion of our meeting. Individual comments will likely be respectfully limited to 3 minutes per person, with the public comment not to exceed 45 minutes. Though the content of comments will not be restricted, it is the hope of this committee that citizens, committee members, and the administration alike will be respectful of each other's right to speak, tolerant of different points of view, and mindful of everyone's time. This public comment period is for general comments or concerns. Speakers are asked to state their name for the record.
How's that? I didn't have to ask. Mary Townsend, Special Ed Teacher Assistant, Wise Union President. I have 3 positive things I'd like to say. First and foremost, I want to thank Mr. Testa, Superintendent McCaffrey, all the school committee members, and Mr. Galligan, the other Mr. Galligan when he was here, for talking about all the good things that are going on in Warwick Public Schools. I try to say that all the time to people, that nobody knows what's happening in our schools that isn't in our schools every single day in every single school. And that's thanks to our faculty and staff, our teachers, our support staff, those people who are our maintenance and custodial staff that keep those buildings prepared and clean, the clerical staff, it's on and on. But our teachers are teaching and our kids are learning. And I wish that people would open their eyes and look at all the innovative ways that teachers and staff are working with students. So that's number one. That's my number one thank you. My second thank you is, while I know it's a tender subject, I want to thank the school committee for supporting Ms. Hazelwood's motion. I too believe that our younger children are confused. I've been talking about that. Things have been happening in schools. They're confused. They're confused about a lot of things, but they need support and conversation, not questions on a piece of paper for them to start writing these things down. What is anybody going to do with that afterwards for that one student? Is somebody going to go to that student and address the things that they wrote individually? I don't think we have the staff for that. So thank you. I already forgot the last thing, so it couldn't have been important. Oh, I know what it was. Friday was Maintenance Appreciation Workers Day. I want to thank Donna Higgins for acknowledging all of the maintenance custodial, crew that was out there, not just during the storm, but every single day. So I'd like to say it publicly. Thank you to our maintenance and custodial staff in Warwick Public Schools.
Thank you.
Jacob Medor, Warwick resident, Warwick graduate, and a Warwick educator. Last month I came up here to shine light on the robotics team, on the culinary program, on the middle school restaurant programs. All of which were first in the state, beating schools that some families unfortunately send their children to over Warwick. Just this past month, another one accord, and I just wanted to draw a light on that. The Tollgate Academic Decathlon team competed this past month, and they beat every school in the state with the exception of Wheeler and East Greenwich. So they beat Hendricken, they beat North North Kingston, South Kingston, Ponegasset, Cranston West, all the hubs of CTC pathways, they beat. And if anyone thinks that this is a fluke, this is the second year in a row that they've done that. So I just wanted to shine light on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Darlene Echo. I want to echo Mary about all of the good things and to thank the maintenance department for, I mean, these men and women stayed overnight at these schools. Vets was without heat and electricity. That must have been absolutely horrible. But they did their jobs, and they did it well. And then thank you to the superintendent for hiring outside companies to come in with the heavy equipment to clear this mess, because that was more snow than the meteorologists were predicting. So nobody knew. It was historic. Although the blizzard of '78 was still, I think, more dramatic for those of us who were around. Anyway, I also want to, though, talk about, since it's this time of year where students are choosing schedules for next year. One of my colleagues at one of the department heads wanted to come and speak tonight about scheduling, and particularly AP classes. A number of the AP sections that had previously run with a low number of students are not running. And the problem with this is not only depriving those kids who want that advanced study of a course for them, but RIDE scores our schools based on the number of AP classes we run. It's a very vicious system they have, because districts become victims of their own success. The more AP classes they run, the more there's a finite number of students who are interested in those classes, and so those classes compete for that finite number of students. And then some classes, you know, can't run. It's like Thunderdome. Some are eliminated, you know, 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. So we need a better system to ensure that all of the kids who want to take any class that they want to take can do it. And along those same lines, one of my colleagues at one of the high schools brought to my attention that a number of courses are missing from the program of study this year. I don't know I haven't been able to find out whose decision it was to eliminate courses just from about every subject, but we should not be eliminating classes from the program of study. Mr. Galligan mentioned public speaking before in regards to graduation by proficiency. Public speaking is a course in the program of study, or rather it was. And we used to have multiple sections
30 seconds.
An SAT prep is a course in the program of study. SATs are one of our state tests. It is not in the program of study right now. So how can a student sign up for it if it is gone? And since it's gone from the program of studies, it's not in the drop-down menu in Aspen when kids go to register. So this problem needs to be rectified. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? Any other members of the public wishing to comment? Any other members of the public wishing to comment? Any comments from administration? Seeing none. We're on a docket session. We'll start with Mr. Testa. Anything you'd like to docket for the next meeting? Nope. Thank you. Mr. Wiggins, anything to docket? Thank you. Ms. Kirby-Chapman? Thank you. Ms. Hazelwood? Thank you. I have nothing to docket for this month. We're on to future meetings. The next Warwick Special Education Advisory Committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 11th, 2026 at 6 p.m. The next Building Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 31st, 2026 at 7:30 a.m. The next Fiscal Subcommittee meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 6th, 2026 at 3 p.m. The next Policy Subcommittee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 7th, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. The next monthly school committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday,